Hello, I wanted to go over your next essay, the comparison and contrast synthesis essay. This one is going to be, I feel like it's pretty easy to understand. Hopefully you're going to stick with the same topic that you chose for your explanatory synthesis essay, the same controversial topic. If you are changing topics, that is fine, but just know that you are starting over from sources. So like, the sources that you are collecting for the last essay and then this current essay, you can use on your argumentative essay that will start in a couple of weeks. But if you're starting over, you'll have to go back to the drawing board and find some new sources. So some topics that are still off limits are the same as they were 2 weeks ago or whenever we did the explanatory and synthesis essay. For this essay, you're just going to be looking at two sources. That's it. Two new sources that you haven't used already. So you cannot use any sources that you used in the last essay. And then one of these needs to be from EBSCOhost and one needs to be just another reputable source. It can be a newspaper or a magazine or a news source, whatever you want that to be. And I don't know if I have that in the notes, and if I don't, I will, I'll add that, but you do need to have one source from EBSCOhost. Okay, so hopefully you have done some comparing and contrasting before. Know that comparing is showing what's similar and contrasting is showing what's different. And so that's what you're going to be doing basically for this essay, is looking at two sources that have some similarities about your topic, but also have some differences. So that means that you're going to have to do some reading to find those sources. But hopefully, based on what you've written so far for your topic, you should be able to find those sources fairly easily. So some questions to help you in this process. Source A, what does it say about your topic? What does source B say about your topic? And then what do source A and B say similarly about your topic? What do source A and B say differently about your topic? For your thesis statement, I do not want you to have a point for every paragraph in your thesis statement. It's going to be too wordy and it's just going to sound weird. So I've got a sample thesis for you that you can use. You can take that and use it however you want to. Basically, so if I was going to do climate change, regarding the topic of climate change, Smith and Jones offer interesting insights that are similar and are different relating to the various facets of this issue. And so, or I could say that compare and contrast relating to the facets of this issue or the elements of this issue. If you don't have an author for one of your sources, then just use the article name in the thesis statement, okay? So this is kind of your outline for the essay, and this is the outline that you need to follow or you will lose points, okay? Excuse me. So your introduction, explain why your topic is important. Give us a little bit of information maybe about the two articles. Don't give us a lot of information about the two articles because your first two body paragraphs are going to be summarizing those. But just kind of tell us like why the topic is important, how long has it been controversial, and then end with your thesis statement underlined. What I do not want you to do is copy and paste last essay's introduction into this one. And if you do, I will probably remember anyway, so don't do that, okay? So that's your intro. Your first two body paragraphs, you're just going to take the two sources that you found and you are going to just summarize those. Just summarize those two sources. You know how to summarize. We did that summary essay. Put them in your own words. You're going to paraphrase two pieces of evidence from the source in those two paragraphs. I would just paraphrase. I wouldn't put any direct quotes in those paragraphs because they're just summary paragraphs. They're not giving you a ton of information, okay? Body paragraphs 3 and 4 is where you're going to have to do a little bit more critical thinking. So I want you to, between the two articles that you find an obvious point of comparison. What are these two articles saying that are the same about your topic? And then you're going to use two pieces of evidence, one from each source, to show that comparison, okay? And if you want to directly quote, I would do it in these two paragraphs. You get two direct quotes in this essay. So that's where I would save those for. And then in body paragraph 4, you're going to find an obvious difference. Where are these two sources different based off of this topic? And then you'll put in two pieces of evidence, one from source A, one from source B, to show that difference, okay? Make sure you're transitioning between paragraphs. As I've graded all semester, and I'm realizing that we are not good at transition statements. They're not hard. They're telling me where you've been and where you're going, okay? So like if you're going to transition from body paragraph 2 to body paragraph 3, while source B mentions different ideas about climate change, both sources say this about climate change, because we're growing into a paragraph about both sources and what they say. So just have a transition statement that links the two paragraphs together, okay? All right, your conclusion. You're going to restate your thesis statement, summarize your body paragraphs. It's not difficult, so just do that well, okay? So you will have 8 total pieces of evidence that you're going to reference, and then so you'll have six paragraphs total, and then you'll have 8 pieces of evidence within those 4 body paragraphs. If you choose another outline format or choose another essay format, you will lose points, so please do not do that. I listed the sources here. One needs to be from EBSCOhost and one needs to be another reputable source. Okay, let's talk about works cited pages. I've tried to save some time to talk about this. I am currently grading your explanatory synthesis essay papers, and your works cited pages are not good. I'm not sure why, because I give you some examples here of how to do that, and I know I gave those examples on the other essay as well, and I've got a video of how to do it. There's no reason why your works cited page should not look like mine, or like these examples. And you've got a link here to Purdue OWL that shows you how to format MLA works cited page entries on a works cited page. So I take off points. Like some of you, I've literally just taken off every point there is to take off on the works cited page because they're not formatted correctly. And as a junior or senior in high school, you should have experience at this point knowing how to format sources correctly. And if you don't know, you've got to email me. Just email me and I will help you. But I can't help you unless you email me. Okay. I will try to do my best. I think I've got a video showing you how to cite entries, and I'll try to find that and post that as well. But you have to do it for a reason. And the reason why I am so adamant on works cited pages being done correctly is that even after this class, regardless of what field you go into, you may not create works cited pages in MLA format, but you will create them in APA format. And APA, I feel like, is harder than MLA. So if this is too hard and you can't do this well, then you will not be successful in other MLA citations that you make in the future. So if you don't understand it, send me an email. Okay? Okay. All right. Parenthetical citation. Just to remind you, if you have a journal article from the source that you find from EBSCOhost, if it gives page numbers on the works cited, those page numbers need to be in your document. They need to be on the essay in your parenthetical citation. Okay, so if I'm grading it, if I'm going through your works cited page and I'm like, oh, this Jones article is from EBSCOhost and it's from pages 338 to 341, then I'm going to be looking for one of those page numbers in the parenthetical on your works cited page, or in the parenthetical in your essay. If it's not there, you're losing points. Because if you're referencing something from the essay, we need to, or from the article, we need to know what page number it's on. Okay. Also, if your article from EBSCOhost especially has 3 or more authors, then you are going to use the abbreviation et al. To stand in the place for the second and following authors. Okay, that's only if you have 3 or more. That's it. You don't get to use it if you just have 2. If you have 2 authors, you have to list both authors. If you have 3 or more, you can use et al. But that et al. Also needs to be in the essay. So if you're introducing an author, Smith et al., every time you say the word Smith and you're referring to that article, then you say Smith et al. Every single time, even in the parenthetical, okay? Because you're giving credit to all of those authors, okay? Okay, let's talk about paragraph sentence formatting, okay? Grading your essays. I'm noticing that a lot of you are not including this background information sentence, okay? You have a topic sentence that should kind of point back to the thesis statement, should tell me what the paragraph is going to be about. Your background information sentence is going to give me the name of the article. It's going to give me the article or the author title, okay? And it's going to give me a brief little snippet of what the article is about, Okay, I do not want the website name. I do not want the news source name. So if it's the BBC, I don't want that. I want the article name and I want the author name. And if there is no author, you don't make one up. You don't include the website name. Article name, author name. If there's no author, you just don't include it and you just have the article name. Okay? I have to have that because I have to know where your information is coming from. And if it's not there and you just drop your quote in, I don't understand. I don't know where it is. Also, remember with your evidence, you've got to have a signal phrase. You've got to have an introducer, like Jones writes, or the author writes, or he states, or she states. Okay? If you don't have that, you're going to lose points. Okay? This is stuff that you should know how to do by now. And I don't mean to come off as like abrasive or rude, but it's March of English 102, and you should know how to do this. Okay? All right, let me exit out of this really quick. Okay, I even have for you a sample compare and contrast synthesis essay from a past student that has taken my class, okay? Obviously the dates are wrong. Ignore the dates. Look at the dates that are on the schedule, and that's what you use for your due date. Also notice how this is formatted. I keep taking off points for you guys having too much space in between your date and your title. There's no extra space here. There's none. It's just date, title, introduction. Because if I was to back this up over into left alignment, there would be no extra space. It's just double spaced all the way through with no extra space, okay? So this gives you a really good explanation, and it gives you an idea of how I want this set up. This is a full paper, okay? And it also has a works cited page on it that is done correctly. So if you have questions, come back to the sample paper and use that to help you, okay? The rubric is also listed. Take a look at that. Make sure you understand what you need to include on the rubric. It's worth 129 points. It's a big essay, so do a good job, okay? As far as what you're doing this week goes, you need to make sure you turn in your outline. Okay, the outline is due the 23rd, which is next Wednesday. So that's due Wednesday, and then I've pushed back your rough draft posting dates. You don't have to have that posted till Friday, which gives you plenty of time. I also wanted to tell you, for those of you who are not posting until like Sunday, I wouldn't expect any feedback on that. If you want feedback on your essay, post it by Friday. Okay? I extended that for a reason, so you could hopefully more people would post by Friday. Okay? Your outlines are due Wednesday. If you know what you want to write about, turn it in early. Send me an email that you've turned it in early, and I will approve it, and you can start writing. Okay? There's a way that this class needs to work, and I'm not there physically to hold your hand. Okay? And I don't like sending videos like this, but sometimes we need to have a reality check, and we can't keep up this kind of effort if we expect to do well on the final essay that starts in a couple of weeks. And so here's your reality check. Get it in gear. I understand the spring is crazy. You've got activities, you've got sports, you've got ag, you've got band. I get it. But this is going on your college transcript. This is a class you're paying for. So if I were you, this would be my priority. Okay? All right. I'm going to try to post as many videos as I can to help you with the works cited page formatting. If you have questions about that, send me an email. Do not assume anything. Send me an email. All right. Have a great week. I will talk to you later.